everyone. It's 2025. Welcome to the very first episode of Precise Point Podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Untoka. Today, as we begin the new year, we are looking at a very, very interesting topic. And it's not just one that is vibrating across the US, but also across the world and has implications over here in Nigeria. And what is that? That's the cryptocurrency market, with President Trump now back in power and is poised to sign an executive order to make cryptocurrency a national priority in the US. What are the impacts of this executive order and how would it affect financial markets across the world and including here in Nigeria? I'm delighted to say that we have here with us to dissect and unpack all the issues here Mr. Chimezie Chuta, who is the founder and the coordinator of Blockchain Nigeria User Group. Well, very welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And it's also important to see that aside from him being the founder and coordinator of the blockchain group, he also runs a tech hub here. So, sir, maybe before we begin, you can just tell us a little bit more of the tech hub.
Okay, so I'm founder and coordinator of Blockchain Nigeria User Group, as I've been introduced. And also, it's important to add that I'm also the chairman of the National Blockchain Policy Steering Committee, which is really the government organization that is driving blockchain technology adoption and its policies in Nigeria. I run a tech hub, Blockspace Innovation Hub, and the focus of the hub is majorly to raise talents and migrate them from Web 2 to Web 3, utilizing the innovative technologies of blockchain and other decentralized technologies and AI. Okay. So that's what we do at Blockspace.
Yeah. Very nice to hear of this. And it's very interesting because, you know, you've come here, you are just apt. You are just the apt guest for us to unpack all these issues. So as we all know now, we have the 47th president in the US, now fully inaugurated, now in power, rolling. He has signed a slew of executive orders, and one that is meant to come in place very soon, according to news reports. Making cryptocurrency a national priority asset for the US, and we know some of all these things includes creating a cryptocurrency council for the US, making national blockchain a priority wallet, and all other things. So I don't know, you can just give us an overview of all these policies that are anticipated policies of President Trump through the executive order.
All right. So Trump, we call him the crypto president because that's what he wants us to know him for. He quoted the crypto funds during the campaigns and promised that he was going to be a crypto president. And part of his strategy to make America great again includes making America the center of innovation, which includes blockchain, crypto, and all the other emerging technologies. I took time yesterday during the inauguration to listen to his speeches and, you know, listening carefully to all the executive orders that he was signing. You know, I just feel that the greater part of the world is happy that someone like that actually has been able to take on the leadership of global economy. Because if you listen to what he was talking about, he tried to remind everyone about how Americans thrived on innovation. You know, when going back in the 17th centuries and all that to 19th century and the early 20th centuries, he enumerated how the American people, the American life and character is identical to that of people who, you know, thrive in innovative environment. And again, you know, when you look at his intent for crypto, it's not only crypto. He's looking at the innovative technologies of the fourth industrial revolution and making sure that Americans and America does not miss out on the opportunity that it offers. He's a businessman, so he understands why it's important to be early in technology. The previous government of Biden administration was a little bit hostile and protective of the American public, which is not bad because we have precedents that suggest that crypto is too volatile for everybody to participate in. So they try to like get it. But again, in getting, they also stifled the development of the technology. So what Trump inadvertently interested in doing is to be more friendly to the technology itself. And of course, he mentioned that he intends to make Bitcoin a reserve asset of the
So more of like creating a stockpile for it so that they can be used.
Because just the same way they have oil and gold as reserve assets, they also want to make sure that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, who knows what they're going to be tomorrow. He just wants to make sure that America and Americans are part of the innovation. And economically, they are also positioned properly to benefit from the technology. So it's a lesson for everybody. All the leaders in the world should take paper and biro and start jotting down things as Trump unrolls his strategies for his new administration.
So it does, to buttress on what you talked about, Bitcoin and becoming more like a stockpile reserve wallet. So what do you think are some of these components? Because people will be asking, Bitcoin as a reserve currency. So what are some of these components that people will think, we can benefit from Bitcoin becoming a reserve currency for the US? And so when you look at that and you're trying to look at the financial implication on the US globally, what do you think things around that?
Well, you know that Bitcoin is one of those digital assets that has aimed for itself the name digital gold. Because in fact, Bitcoin is even better than gold because gold is not finite, but Bitcoin is finite. You can only have 21 million Bitcoin, of which over 19 million of it is already in circulation right now. So the fact that it's a finite asset makes it a more dependable asset. It doesn't have any CEO. It doesn't have any board of directors that control how. It's just an asset that is there for everyone to participate in. So when they say they want to make it one of their reserve assets, what they're trying to do is that they want to become significant holders, because the last Bitcoin is going to be mined around 2140, around 2140.
That's when the last.
Yes, you understand. So it's a long time. So he wants to be able to like position America so that the future of the Americans will be properly secured in the digital future. And that's the kind of thing that we're supposed to be doing in Nigeria. And I mean, across Africa. I remember in 2017, during Buhari's administration, a certain return of Abacha's loot, about $600 million was coming in.
Yeah.
I remember I was in one of the national TVs and I advised that the return $600 million, they should just use that and buy Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was just around $1,000 as at that time.
Yeah, but some will argue maybe that at the time it lost value before it got back up.
Yes,
with some,
all the same. Today, Bitcoin is trading at $103,000. So you could imagine if we bought Bitcoin at $1,000 with $600 million, you will know where we are. We could be giving out aids to other African countries. So it's all about strategic positioning. So in as much as, yes, this is a nascent technology, it's innovation, nobody is sure, but in regulating a new technology, you should be careful not to stifle it.
Okay.
Look at how the internet is today. A lot of people who didn't believe in the future of the internet missed out on it. Today, it runs our lives. So who knows whether tomorrow these digital assets, some of these cryptos that we are playing around with, they might be the things that will run our lives. Okay, so I believe that, again, other African leaders, especially Nigerian leaders, they should sit down and study what is going on in the US.
Okay. But so I was just like, you already talked about the fears of it. So there are the fears and there are the triumphs and the hopes. So for example, like when just before Trump's inauguration, at the Friday before Trump's inauguration, he launched his meme coin, and then as at that Friday, it shot up to he hit a capital base of about 4 billion. Then as of Sunday, just before his Monday inauguration, it reached about 12 billion. So people may say, oh, it's going skyrocketing. It's giving you ultimate value, but it's not going to be like one of our Ponzi schemes where you're enjoying, you feel the value is skyrocketing and going up, and all of a sudden it crashes down one day and there's nothing to be seen. So how do you now, so while we can see, and then like you alluded to now earlier, that cryptocurrency is doing very well in the market, is there a way that we can say, oh, even as it's going well, it's not going to just crash down to an extent that it crashes down suddenly and we have issues all around?
First of all, what was launched was a meme token.
Yes.
And meme is just a joke. So it's part of the crypto industry for you to have memes. And usually when people launch memes like that, it can make people make a lot of money and also make people lose a lot of money.
It's true.
So the rule one in crypto is never invest an amount that you cannot afford to lose. If you are putting ₦1 million, just know that you could lose ₦1 million. If you're putting in $1 million, not just also know that you could lose the $1 million. It should be clear to you before you get involved, because if you do it and it was not clear to you, you have nobody to blame. Because if you check on the website where the platform that announced the launch of the token, they made it clear that this asset has nothing to do with investment. It is just something that shows that you are part of Trump's community. In other words, it's just our thing. When we were growing up, we used to have clubs and groups, so we could do parties and organize events and find something to like share, maybe a handkerchief or share a wristband or something that anybody who is a member of it can hold. That's what memes are. Okay. So, that the price shot up to as much as $77 per token, is a testimony to the fact that a lot of people like this guy. Jonathan, they just like this guy. Primarily. A lot of people also know that the game of crypto, that is who gets in first. When you get in on an asset when it's launched first, you stand to benefit, because when the excitement starts going down, everybody starts selling, then price starts coming down. And that's the moment people start crying, okay, we lost money and all that. But nobody forced you in. I saw Trump token when it was launched. It was still around $4.
Yes.
I didn't buy it. I didn't get involved. Not because I wouldn't have loved to get involved, but I tried to be a little bit safe, because I have a whole lot of things I want to do with money.
As
at that time, I did not have. Yes, I did not have anyone that I can afford to lose to put in. You understand? Understand my point?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
I didn't have any money laying around that I could afford to lose. So it's better that I didn't gain anything than that I tried to use some money, maybe my children's school fee, and at the end of the year, I'll lose it. I might gain it, but then, you see, there's no guarantee.
Okay.
You understand? So, in crypto, generally, you have to understand that there are key drivers behind it. One is the narrative that is associated with the asset. The second one is the hype that goes with it. So in Trump and Melania, you have the narrative. He's a crypto president. He's going to make crypto great again. So that's the narrative behind it. And of course, the hype. Trump is phenomenal. Everybody just knows that. There's no token that has ever launched in the world that matches what happened with the Trump
Trump
token.
token.
Not single thing like that.
In terms of value, in terms of
value, in terms of volume, in terms of hype, in terms of narrative itself. Because holding Trump token is more than buying an asset. You're identifying with the spirit of this guy. This guy had the best or the greatest comeback in political history of any politician anywhere in the world.
True.
Do you understand? You look at the grounds on which he stepped before he got back into the White House. It's almost impossible. So holding that meme is something of value. So no one who is holding it, even if you're not in profit, should feel that he's not holding anything. It's a testament that you identify with the greatness that is associated with this guy.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So I want us to explore further now. So let's shift our focus and go higher. At least first, let's look at the global market. So if President Trump now, if he signs these anticipated executive orders, we're trying to look at the global market. What are the implications for it? Either positive and negative. How does it impact the international market in the sense that, we know, okay, well, there's a revolution, like he said, and just like he said in his inaugural speech, he wants to move America to the new age in both business, innovation. So how does this tend to play out?
Okay, so first of all, we are expecting that sometime this week, the executive order that will make Bitcoin and crypto reserve asset for the US Treasury will be signed. And when that is signed, we already have seen that the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, has already resigned as at yesterday.
Yeah.
So we have a crypto-friendly person that is just waiting for confirmation from the Senate before he takes over. Probably he might begin to act. Now, there are a couple of regulatory instruments that were put in place by the last administration. And there are tendencies that are associated with deliberate attempts to deny crypto companies access into the global financial market. You know, what they call Operation Choke 2.0. You know, so the idea there is to make it as difficult as possible for crypto companies from interacting directly with the global financial market. Okay. We are looking at something like that to go away.
Okay. So regulatory changes.
So there will be clear regulatory changes. Of course, he has already signed an executive order to stop further regulatory announcements. You know,
until the takes hold of the administration.
Of course, it's going to affect crypto too.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are now also going to see that there won't be hostility against innovators. In the last administration, we saw a whole lot of cases in court, SEC taking even CZ, Binance founder, served some months of time in jail, you know, and we have Sam Beckman-Fried serving 25 years in jail, and a whole lot of other people. You know, it's not as though there's no need for regulation. What we advocate, even right here in Nigeria, is what we call friendly regulation. Without stifling an economy. So the hostility will reduce, and once that hostility reduces, there will be regulatory changes, rule making will differ from what it used to be, and that will bring institutions to comfortably begin to come into the market. Don't forget that retail traders are not the ones that move the market.
Yes.
The markets are majorly moved by institutions,
yes,
fund managers, and so on.
Yes.
So some of those things that limit maybe commercial banks from holding crypto assets. For instance, if I have account in XYZ US bank, the bank cannot hold crypto assets on my behalf because of regulation. But if those things are settled, you will see that individuals will prefer to have banks hold the asset for them. Just like we have some other fund managers already doing that. But commercial banks, which is access into the international financial market will be bolder in allowing their customers access crypto assets. So all those things would definitely have positive price action in the market.
And then it will really likely lead to a surge in terms of crypto
Definitely.
adoption.
Every one of us, we are all sitting down and we are waiting for what we call the 4-year bull run cycle. Right now, Bitcoin has had a very good run, running from around $19,000 to $108,000, which is nice. But a whole lot of other altcoins, which is where most retail traders, most human beings, most Nigerians are holding, have not really experienced any kind of rally so far. We expect that at a point like this, Ethereum at least should have hit 4,500 and above. They have other assets, and most of them should have crossed their previous all-time high.
Right.
But that has not happened because of this regulatory thing that we're talking about. Because don't forget that under the outgoing SEC administration, they made it seem as though it's only Bitcoin that is not a security. Ethereum and the rest of them were all classified as security. Or rather, they were not clear how they classify them. And that stopped institutions from holding such assets. So once those gray areas are settled, I'm one of those who believe that we're going to have one of the most outstanding alt season in history in 2025.
So let's bring it closer to home now.
Yeah.
That is home, talking of Nigeria. Yeah. So if this executive order is signed in the US, and as we know, because the US is, should we say the financial in quotes now, the financial capital of the world, because obviously its currency decides, the strength of the currency decides most of the international transactions that we have. So it will surely have an impact here. So what kind of impact do you think once the executive order is signed will have here? And then thankfully, as you mentioned and you explained at the beginning of the podcast, you are the chair or the head of the cryptocurrency blockchain group that is trying to foster cryptocurrency adoption in government. So I think probably to get your insights and into things that probably the committee has already spoken with the government. So with things like this now, how do you narrow down how all this will have an impact on probably adoption of cryptocurrency in Nigeria and the financial market, knowing that our country is still a conservative financial market? We are still using traditional financial institutions like stocks, bonds, and all that. Is there going to be competition? Is there going to be face this for this, or can both of them merge together? So how?
Okay, in fairness to the Nigerian government is not really doing badly.
Okay.
We just know that it could do better.
Okay.
We already have a national blockchain policy that has been assented to by the Federal Executive Council. We already have the Security and Exchange Commission set up a sandbox environment and is providing provisional licenses for virtual asset service providers. We also know that CBN laid out some criteria for the licensed visual asset service providers to have access to banking services. We know also that even stable coin issuing organization has also been provided with a provisional license. So all these are pointers to say that the Nigeria's blockchain and crypto environment is more or less gearing towards the direction of mass adoption. Mass adoption is not there yet, because until we start seeing the Dangote group posting their Bitcoin holding, start seeing the corporations, these organizations that openly and publicly posting their holdings or their investment or their products that are designed around these emerging technologies, we will not be celebrating mass adoption. So what are we supposed to be doing at this time? We're supposed to be studying and understudying regions where they are taking steps that seemingly suggest the direction the world is going. When you look at the team behind Trump, you will know that these are informed individuals. I saw the founders of Meta. I saw Amazon founder. I saw Google founder. I saw Elon Musk.
The currency of Google.
You understand? So I think 4 or 5 of them in total were about $800 and something billion net worth behind this dude. Are you telling me this guy is not smart? The strength of a man is known by the amount of people that are around him. The people that work with him is what shows his strength, not his personal energy alone. So when you look at these innovators behind him, it suggests something. If he was not going in the direction, you know what they say in finance, follow the money.
Yes.
You understand? So our government, our policymakers, our regulators, they should study what is going on here, follow the money. These men behind this guy are suggesting to us the direction that global finance is going in the next couple of years. So we should copy and innovate and make it ours as much as we can.
Okay. Just as we wrap up right now, so we're trying to look at everything. So how do you think this anticipated executive order and then other policies that may likely be signed by President Trump, how will it impact the cryptocurrency market? And so just 2 questions in one. And then what strategy, although you've mentioned something like that, so what other clear strategies do you think that Nigerian financial regulators and then also operators, especially those who want to adopt cryptocurrency as a means of transaction and want to encourage Nigerians who want to trade in that, what can they do to ensure that this happens for our national benefit and for the benefit of Nigerians?
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, I did a medium article on compliance, the need for crypto service and visual asset service providers to be brought into the very same financial reporting standards that financial service providers are also subjected to. That's very important. And I even propose that they should even have more stringent measures put in place to ensure that they comply.
That's within Nigeria.
Yes, right? That's in Nigeria. Because the borderless nature and the fluid nature of crypto asset makes them have peculiar traits that, I understand when regulators say we don't want this because they don't have the capacity to monitor and control it. But as technologies are being applied, remember that the US government, one of the executive orders that he signed was the Doge.
Yes. Department of Government Efficiency.
Yeah, Department of Government Efficiency, which not just are they supposed to be working to reduce cost of governance, but they want to integrate technology into government processes, and that will reduce cost greatly and streamline the processes. Again, our own people should take down paper and biro and start writing down, taking notes from what these guys are doing. Yes, we have efforts. Of course, the supervising ministry or minister for the NIDA, the agency where we're implementing the blockchain strategy. In fairness, they are doing quite a lot to bring digital knowledge and, provide an environment for transition from analog systems to digital.
So that's the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy.
Yes. So they are trying to do all that. But we need to see bolder efforts coming from the top, not just from the ministry. We need to see bolder effort from the top. The National Assembly, the executive, we should see them no longer do this budgeting thing like we are living in Stone Age. You understand me? There should be a more transparent way that the finance ministry handles money and its disbursement. let technology play key roles. I'm not talking about using Excel sheets here. Do you understand? Because I think once they use Excel to document something, they'll say it's digital.
But even your Excel sheet can be uploaded on live, and then it can be altered. And
yes, it's major. You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
But there are a whole lot of innovation that you need to like do with other tools before you now get to the ledger part of it.
Okay. It has been a very, very insightful conversation today. I want to thank you again very much, Mr. Chimezie Chuta, for joining us on this episode. And then we look forward to some of these things coming to fruition and then seeing how they would impact our Nigerian economy. Thank you very much again for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So as we look ahead after this episode, it is very clear to us that the financial market is about to experience not just a change, but a revolution. And Nigeria as a whole must also brace up for this because with President Trump's anticipated actions, it is clear that some things are going to change, and we have to brace up this change. We don't have to be left behind. So for more in-depth information and analysis on this issue and all other issues, please kindly visit our website, www.precisepoint.net, and then you find information there. You can also look at our social media handles, which will display on the screen. So for everything on, for every information on business, economy, and policy, precisepoint.net is your starting point for this. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode. Until next time, I remain your host, Gabriel Ntoka, signing out. Bye.